Hello my friends, my name is Big Sot and today we are going to speak about multi-level listening part 3. The third part of the listening section of the multi-level exam consists of 5 questions. You will hear the speech of 5 different people in it, and based on this you have to determine the information that corresponds to each speaker from the 7 or 8 answer options. You will hear each speaker twice. Therefore, if you are not sure which is the correct answer for the first time, you hear it, listen more carefully for the second time and understand the audio better. In order to work on the questions in this part more effectively, first, you should carefully read the sentence in the answer options and underline the keywords that give the main meaning. Keywords can usually consist of 2 words. For example, after reading the whole sentence, reading just 2 keywords should tell you the meaning of that sentence. For example, arriving late for everything. Let's define the 2 keywords in this sentence. Arriving late for everything. That is, reading late everything gives us the meaning of the sentence. Arriving late for everything. As much as possible before the audio starts, we need to identify the main keywords of the sentence in all the answer choices. Then listen carefully to the audio for the first time and try to find the correct answer. If you are not sure which is the correct answer, listen to the audio for the second time more carefully. It's usually easier to find the correct answer when you do so. During your preparation, listen to each speaker more than twice. This will help you better understand the speaker's speaking speed, pronunciation and interpretation of certain meanings. Then listening twice during the exam will make it easier for you to find the correct or right answer. Let's practice some sample exercises. We have 5 speakers and 8 answer options. First, read the answer options, and if you want, try to translate them into your native language. We will hear 5 short extracts in which people are talking about happiness. For question 1 to 5, choose from the list A to H what each person says happiness means to them. Use the letters only once, and there are 3 extra letters which we don't need to use. Be very attentive and do the listening task.
Speaker 1. What is happiness? From an early age, happiness for me is sitting in a boat in the middle of a lake on a summer's day and doing some serious fishing. All alone, just me and my thoughts. No stress, get away from it all for an hour or so. But maybe not completely aimless, not just lying on a beach somewhere, but having some task to do. Then, when it's all over, it's back to normal life and problems and hassle and having to fight to get what you want. But that brief moment of happiness helps me to reflect and make sense of my life.
Speaker 2. I think to be happy, you do obviously need some financial security. Not rich, I didn't say that, because there's an important difference. Also, I'd say you need humour in your life. That's kind of obvious too. Having lots of free time to do what you want. Not sure there. I'd say quite the reverse, actually. For me, you really appreciate your moments of leisure when you've done lots of hard work. If it's all play and no work in your life, then you don't enjoy it. So for me, it's all to do with setting yourself a list of things to get through, and then you've completed them. Now you can be happy.
Speaker 3. I sometimes wonder if being happy is something to do with age. Very young children are happy most of the time,
Very old people are happy when they think of fond memories, and also they're happy when they see their grandchildren happy. So happiness is not just specific to one age group. That's certainly the case with my family. But in my experience, happy people get through life more easily. If you take things seriously all the time, that's when you get stressed or have health issues maybe. And sometimes life can be a real pain, let's be honest.
Speaker 4. Happiness comes in many shapes and forms. Personally, I'm happy when I'm active, doing my sports, and feeling all healthy. But maybe that's a rather self-centered view. I also get moments when I'm just, say, sitting on a train, and suddenly I think of my children's smiling faces and realize how lucky I am, how happy they make me. And my husband, too, of course. My life could have turned out much worse, as it has for many people. Will I still be happy when they've all grown up and gone away? I'm sure when that time comes, I'll find a new form of happiness. Speaker 5.
It's sometimes said that you make your own happiness, and I've got some sympathy for that view, but in my experience, it's something more than that. It might sound strange, but I honestly think it's all about your life not being too easy. If everything in your life is handed to you on a plate by rich parents, then I actually don't think you're as happy as someone who's had to struggle a bit in their life. When you can share your struggles with others and laugh about how you got through them, that's when you're truly happy. That's certainly how it's worked out for me.
So this is the end of the task. Have you chosen your answer options? Now let's analyze the answers together one by one. Speaker 1. It's D. Happiness is a short escape from everyday routine. While you are listening the first speaker's monologue, you will listen keywords in audio such as all alone and my thoughts, no stress, get away from it all. This suggests that the speaker views happens as moments of relief or breaks from the monotony of daily life. It leads you to choose this variant. Speaker number 2. It's H. Happiness comes from achieving your goals. When it comes to the second speaker, it's all play and no work in your life, then you don't enjoy it. So for me, it's all to do with setting yourself. You can be happy. This sentence lead you to choose this option because all indicates that the speaker believes happiness is linked to personal accomplishments and reaching set objectives. Speaker number 3. It's A. Having a happy personality allows you to cope effectively with problems. The third speaker's monologue addresses you to choose this variant because keywords signal you to find the answer with words such as happy people get through life more easily, take things seriously when you get stressed, be a real pain, and etc. This reflects the idea that a positive state helps in managing challenge. Speaker 4. It's G. Happiness is being thankful for what you have. Happiness comes in many shapes and forms. Will I still be happy when they are all grown up? When that time comes, I'll lend a new form of happiness. This sentence help you to choose and find the right answer for the speaker number 4. This answer shows that the speaker finds happiness in gratitude and appreciation for their current state. And at last, speaker 5, and it's C. Happiness is all about the experience of overcoming problems. It's all about your life and being too easy, had to struggle a bit in their life, share your struggles with others and love. These keywords or phrases help you to choose this option. This suggests that the speaker sees happiness as a result of facing difficulties and fighting against them, indicating growth through challenge. Options B, E and F. These options do not give the specific sentiments expressed by the speakers regarding what happens means to them, as indicated by the selected answers. B, E and F options introduce concepts that were not present in the speaker's statements. Let's try another exercise. Again, we have 5 speakers and 8 answer options. First, read carefully all the answer options and try to translate them into your native language. And now let me read the instruction of the task. You will hear 5 short extracts in which people are talking about classical music. For questions 1 to 5, choose from the list A to H the reason each person gives for starting to play classical music. Use the letters only once. There are 3 extra letters which you don't need to use.
Speaker 1.
Classical music's often seen as old-fashioned, and though there's people everywhere who go to concerts, and some classical musicians are big-name stars, it doesn't really excite young people that much. They prefer pop music or more modern stuff. But the truth is, it's hard to interpret complex music, even with the best teacher in the world, unless you start training early on in life. Luckily for me, I came to this conclusion myself when I was in my early teens. And when I said I wanted to become a classical guitarist, my parents rather reluctantly went along with the idea and bought me some lessons. Since then, I've played almost every day.
Speaker 2.
I bought my first classical recording aged 14. It was a violin concerto by a Russian composer. Although my school had a strong arts focus, I had no particular interest in classical music till one day when I heard a big rock star going on about the most exciting piece of music ever written. Being a fan of his music, I felt I had to hear it. By the 3rd listening, I was convinced he was right. What's more, I found I really had an urge to play the violin myself and found myself a teacher. Despite my dad's complaints about the noise I produced, I practiced every day at home. I've never looked back.
Speaker 3.
At my school, I was made to learn the recorder, and I had to practice every day. The sound I produced was so dreadful that whatever piece of music I was supposed to be playing was hard to recognise, despite all the efforts made by our music teacher, who'd actually been quite a famous musician himself when younger. It took a while, but I recovered from that, and got to know the work of some of the top composers, thanks to my uncle. That got me excited enough to beg to have piano lessons when I was about 12. After that, everything just took off. Now, here I am, getting quite well known as a concert pianist.
Speaker 4.
At school, our music teacher tried to get us into classical music without much success. He just seemed to go for the most unexciting pieces. It was me who noticed classical music turning up in movies, cartoons and stuff. Like, I remember one day hearing a really famous classical piece being played on a commercial trying to attract young kids to some fast food place. You'd think things like that would be enough to put anyone off classical music. But they had the opposite effect on me, encouraging me to want to learn to play and seek out a good teacher, which is what I did, much to my mum's amazement, I remember.
Speaker 5.
Although my dad had taught me to play the flute at an early age, I didn't get interested in learning to play classical music then. I wasn't willing to try and understand it and didn't realise you have to do that in order to enjoy it. As a kid, I wanted something that made me jump and got me going, made me feel happy or enthusiastic, so I resisted the efforts of my teacher to introduce me to classical music. She got there in the end, though, by sheer persistence, convincing me that there's great excitement to be found in the joy of playing something difficult and doing it well.
This is the end of the task. If you want, you can simply listen to the audio again for the second time. If you have done the task, let's now check our answers. The numbers of the speakers and the answer options are given in the same color. For example, speaker 1, it is F, realizing the importance of starting young. Speaker 2, it's G, the influence of someone famous. Speaker 3, it's B, being introduced to a range of good music. And speaker 4, it's E, hearing it in an everyday situation. And speaker 5, it's D, the encouragement of a teacher. This is the end of our lesson. Thanks for your time and consideration. Goodbye.